and welcome to India Today. This is Hesha Chimah, and joining me here for a conversation is the beautiful and the lovely Aditi Govitrikar. Hi.
Hi, Hesha. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for removing time and doing this.
Pleasure.
You know, I have to start off by saying this, that ever since I have followed your body of work and looked at what you do on Instagram, I feel like you've set an example for so many women out there. I feel not just for the field that you belong to, but also for somebody who probably just wants to switch and become a doctor. You know, that's crazy. I have to start off this conversation by asking you this. Glam to intelligence, this merger, you know, often we women are discounted for our intelligence just because we probably enjoy fashion, beauty and all of that that you enjoy.
Yes.
But then here you are absolutely breaking that stereotype and having that doctor tag on you, which speaks a lot and volumes about your intelligence. Please talk to me a little bit about that transition too.
Well, it wasn't planned. As a child, my mother tells me that the minute I started understanding about life, I said I want to be a doctor, and that was my goal, that was my focus. I worked towards it. I got admission in Grand Medical College. I finished my MBBS from there. However, life had some other plans, or God had some other plans for me, and modeling just happened, by the way. And one day from the other, I was like, yeah, I'll do this campaign and then I'll see. So in the meanwhile, MD Gynac happened. I started doing MD Gynac. All the babies decide to be born in the night, majority of them. And it became very hard to then maintain both, to balance both, because each field needs 100%.
Right.
Although we think, oh, it's glamour, you just have to wear beautiful clothes and you just have to walk and it's not like that. And you know that, right? It's a lot more than what is seen on screen. So at one point I had to take a call, and at that time I decided, okay, I'll give it 1 year because this seems fun, and then I'll go back to my medicine. Of course, that never happened. However, 8-9 years back, I went back to studying and I did my psychology. So I did my master's from Harvard University. Before that, I did a post-graduation course in counseling from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and one more master's in psychology from India itself. Because I just felt that, you know, my gray cells weren't getting that stimulation that I was craving. I read a lot and I listen to a lot of podcasts, but that giving the exam stress is something that I think I'm addicted to. And that happened. And then when I became a psychologist, people said, oh, but you're too glamorous to be a psychologist. I said, listen, when I did medicine, people told me you're too glamorous to be a doctor, but I got admission on merit.
Right.
When I started modeling, they're like, oh, but you're a doctor, and so on and so forth. When I had my child and I went for Mrs. World, they're like, oh, but you don't look like a mother of one. I'm like, how is a mother of one supposed to look like? Is there a blueprint there? I mean, tell me. So I said, look, this is who I am. I accept and I love the way who I am. So I'm not going to fit into a box which says that a psychologist needs to dress up like this. I am this person and I'm very happy who I am. Why should, just because there is a stereotype which is attached to a particular word, I need to stick to it? Where is it written? So similarly, when a client speaks to me and they say, oh, but I am this, I said, where is it written? You know, we make these boundaries for ourselves. We allow other people to make these boundaries for us. And that is where you don't really maximize your potential.
Right.
You don't really live your life the way it is meant to. So that's the, whole long answer to your question.
But it makes so much sense when you're sharing this with me, because at such a young age, you've kind of faced ageism too early on, right?
Yes.
Like
yes.
oh, you're too young to do this, or you don't look like a mother for a particular pageant or whatever that stream is. How do you see all of this changing or evolving through the years from then to now for yourself?
Things for married women have definitely changed now, and I'm so happy because now we have mothers who are playing main leads.
Right.
So when back then, I'm talking about 2001, if you were married, forget married, but if you were in a relationship, nobody would even say it in open. So in press, it would always be, women used to say, or girls used to say, oh, we're just good friends.
To be desirable.
Correct, right? Thankfully, that has changed now. But what I'm fighting now really is ageism for women. Because there's just so much pressure for everybody to look a certain age when you're not.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why we see like especially because of social media, there's a lot of pressure on women where ageism is concerned. And that is something that I have taken it upon myself to do my little 2-bit through Marvelous Mrs. India, where we don't have an age limit. So in fact, in season 2, we had a gorgeous 72-year-old, a sprightly young woman who participated. She won a subtitle called Marvelous Diva.
Wow.
Because she was a diva.
I've gotten goosebumps. I think that's such a beautiful initiative. Congratulations for doing that. Because, age definitely is no limit or no bar. And I feel like if we women only start shaming our own selves, I feel more than the world, because we're so conditioned right now. We only humor ho gaya, bhi nahi kar sakte. But well, 72, and I think
she was a rock star. Yes.
That's insane. But Aditi, also talk to me a little bit about the fact that surviving and being relevant in the industry that you are in takes a lot of effort these days, right? And I feel somehow, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel you don't put too much effort. You're okay. Like, I know you're paps following you. I know you have your friend circle from the industry and all that. You're comfortable, you're not comfortable, you're okay. Like, how are you right now?
I don't chase. I never did. And people do tell me that A, my PR sucks. B, I'm too laid back. But I'm like, this is who I am and I'm okay. I don't want to be running after fame or running after something because it's just too hard.
Right.
And it's just too trying. The thing is that I'm very comfortable with who I am. So, you know what? This is all very transient. At the end of the day, I think it also comes from the fact that when I was studying to be a doctor, in the first year itself, we had to see patients patients who walked into the OPD with wounds because of bomb blast. So I've seen and this is when you're like 17. I've seen a guy carrying his skull in his hand because of the bomb blast, because he was hurt. There were people who carrying their intestines. And when you think about that, you're like, look, this paps and the glam. I love it. So don't get me wrong. I absolutely love glamour. I love being papped. I love being in front of the camera. But at the end of the day, that is my job.
Right.
It's a small part of me. That's not who I am. There's so much more to who I am. And because I'm so aware of it, I'm completely okay.
Yeah, you look also very comfortable. Like, even if they're there, you're like, ha, theek hai, to hai. It's fine. If they're not there also, you're fine. But they're there. We can see it. We see it on our Instagram reels and everything. And I've never seen you like running away or pretending ki mat lo and all.
I mean, that is a sham, no? I mean, we all know that. So it's a little weird.
You pose.
But it's part of life. So I guess what is what the point I'm trying to make is I'm not insecure. So, and that makes me very comfortable. So if the paps call me to take a picture, I'll stand there. But if they don't, I'll walk away. It's not like, arey, mera photo lo, I'll do weird things or I'll wear weird stuff and go. So that's not who I am. And I'm not being judgmental here because, Hesha, I completely understand that it is a personality trait.
Correct.
If somebody is that person, I admire that person for who they are, because they are putting themselves out there to do what they want to do, and hats off to that, right? So I completely respect everybody's choice of who they want to be, and I accept them.
For who they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, 2 questions that came to me right now. One is you spoke about the fact that you're extremely secure. I want to understand, where do you drive your sense of security from? One, to begin with. And secondly, then how do you sort of then condition yourself to become okay to be in the public limelight?
So the security, I think, comes because that's the kind of person I have been. It doesn't mean that if somebody says something or does something, it doesn't bother me and I don't ruminate about it for a while. But then I come back, I get out of it, because I ask myself, is this incident or is this going to bother me, say, 2 years down the line? Right. Is it so crucial to my life, my existence, or does it define who I am? And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
Let it go, leave it, So I think that's where the sense of security comes. And also, again, because it was not my childhood dream to be this, and it happened to me. I enjoy every moment of it. I'm like, I feel nice when, like, for example, I just went to Tirupati recently, and my first film was Tammudu, which was a huge runaway hit with Pawan Kalyan. And people there, after all these years, I'm talking about like 22 years back, people still recognized me and they called my name. My character name was Lovely. And they said, Lovely, Lovely, Lovely Garu. And it was just so sweet. And I enjoy that.
Wow.
I'm like, that's so sweet. And, I thank Balaji for it, for having that recognition that I enjoyed during that trip. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from.
I also somehow feel that sometimes when you don't run after validation, it just occurs to you naturally.
Absolutely.
It just happens.
Yes.
I feel like probably since you were not chasing it so much, even years later when you visited Tirupati, they still recognized you for who you are, and then that whole idea of relevance just sort of falls into place without anything, right? That's amazing.
Yes.
But also want to talk to you about pageantry, right? You're so actively into it as well. I think kudos on the initiative where you're getting married women, separated, divorced, everybody, the whole Mrs. tag and going forward.
Yes.
I feel it's a great initiative
Thank
because
you.
with beauty pageants, I feel like we're all conditioned to look at it from a different light altogether.
Yes.
And more than happy to discuss some of them, and if you can break a few myths here and there too. I feel like because I've been associated with the pageant industry also in some way or the other, I understand the pressure. The young girls, really working hard, and they're all goal achievers and goal getters in their head.
Yeah.
However, stereotyped, looks and beauty.
Correct.
आपको लगता है then to now you've seen certain changes, and how was your experience when you were a part of the pageant world, and now that you're on the other side of it, what is it that you're doing differently so as women feel more empowered?
So there is a huge difference between a Miss pageant and Mrs. pageant. For a Miss, they better be focused and go-getters and ambitious, and everybody should play to win, whether it is a Miss or Mrs. And that's what I tell my participants as well when I train them, that you got to play to win. It is a competition at the end of the day.
Correct.
Sure, I have created a holistic transformational program, and these are not the words that I'm just lightly throwing, because I have given it a lot of thought. There's a lot of detailing that has gone into creating that journey for them. I'm like, don't come here to have fun. Yes, it is the journey that you should enjoy, but on the finale, you put your best foot forward. You look your best, you feel your best, because it is a competition. There is only one crown. There is only one winner. So you play to win, but play is an important word.
Right.
You got to enjoy the journey. Now, where Miss India's or the pageants for Miss is concerned, I think they should be cutthroat ambitious. They should go out there. For Mrs., it's a different thing, because at the end of the day, we have, like I said, 72-year-old, and we had a 27-year-old, and we had a 40-year-old. So the journey is solitary. That's what I tell them, that you're not competing with, like a 72-year-old cannot compete with a 27, but it's very different. So how we gauge or how we judge is through their journey from the time she enrolls, because I train them personally. Then we have a 1-month intensive online program where again we have a lot of mentors. We had Vabis Mehta, we had Noinika Chatterjee, we had Gaur Gopal Das ji who took a session, we had Brahmakumari's sister Shivani, so we were very blessed.
Now, this is beautiful. I mean, who would imagine in a pageantry you have people like spiritual speakers and inspirational people like a BK Shivani and a Gaur Gopal. I follow them too, so it's amazing.
Yes. So like I said, it was a holistic program. So for them, the journey is, the fight is with themselves. How are you bettering yourself today to tomorrow? And how are you showing that to us? So that is their journey. So the way I've crafted it is very different. And that's why I don't have a Miss category. Like a lot of people ask me that, why are you limiting yourself? I said, I'm not limiting myself. I'm focusing myself on this thing called Mrs. Marvelous Mrs. India. So there's a nuanced difference there. And maybe I'll do a Miss India, Marvelous Miss India later on, but not right now. Right now, I only want to make Marvelous Mrs. India to be the best platform that there is. Because the reason why I started this after so many years, and people ask me that you won Mrs. World back in 2001, so why now, right? At that time, I was not that confident in my capabilities. B, I don't know, life just happened, I had my child and I was raising, he was preterm, so a lot of effort went into raising him, and then I had a personal setback. So in all that, I never thought that, okay, let me start a pageant.
Right.
However, I used to go as a judge to many, because there are lots of pageants now. So I used to go and judge a lot of pageants. Hesha, recently what happened was, last 3 or 4 years, what I started noticing was that the journey is not as beautiful as it should be. Because, I remember every moment of my Mrs. World journey, and it was beautiful. But here it had become like the participant is in the pageant to create content for the organizer. The crowns are for sale. So I'm like, what is this happening? It is not right.
Correct.
It's become a business. Sure, it's a business. It's not NGO.
Right.
It's not. But give the girl who's participating worth what she's come for, right? Don't just look at her like, okay, I'm going to create content for my, or, so and so can buy it for so many lakhs. And I'm like, no, I can either crib about it or I can do something about it, right? I got to do something. Otherwise, I should keep quiet and just continue.
Right.
So I said, no, now it's time for me to step in and start my own.
Amazing. Let me take you back during your initial days. Let's rewind. Let's get into nostalgia a little bit. How was it like for, I don't know, you were probably a teenager when you started off in the modeling industry. Again, competitive industry. It's difficult. And then we have our own teenage problems to deal with as well, which is never ending. We're always oscillating from one thought to the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take me through all of that a little bit. And what is it that you probably learned from that?
When I think back, and you're really taking me down the memory lane, I won Gladrag's supermodel contest. And the next day in Mumbai, at all main junctions, at all main spots, my photograph was there, saying Gladrag supermodel winner. And to me, I was like, that's me. So it did not sink in. For a long time, I think for the longest time, I did not realize the fame that I had been given.
Yeah.
So I was myself, and then I won Gladrags, and I won Mrs. World, and I came back. Same thing happened, and I'm still in my la la land, like, yeah, I won Mrs. World and this and that and all. Now let me talk to people and tell them that married women can be part of a beauty pageant. I remember Prasad Bidappa called me for a fashion show, and he said, so how much are you charging? So I said the same rate, like whatever I was charging. He's like, you're charging the same rate? I'm like, oh, am I supposed to increase it? I mean, I think I was dumb, really. So it did not enter my head, my thick skull, to realize how popular and famous I was. The other side to it was people used to say, you're so down to earth. I'm like, okay, that's why.
But that you are, you still are.
Now it's like, well, now that's fine. I mean, it's over.
But do you feel you didn't cash on to that
fame
back in the day?
Yeah, I didn't. So there are many regrets, of course. But then how I look at it is, retrospectively, if I ask any human being, we are all smarter, right? Yeah, we all have 20/20 vision when you think back that, oh, I should not have done this, or I should have made this decision.
Right.
But at that time, that is who I was.
Correct.
And even today, in my present moment, I got to accept who I was in my past. Because whatever mistakes I made, or whatever the right decisions, whatever I took, that's made me the person I am today.
Right.
And I'm, like I keep saying, that I am completely okay with who I am today. So I will not say that, oh my God, why did I not do that? It's okay. That's part of life. So if given a choice, would I make the same mistakes? Or if I had to lead my life all over again, given the knowledge I have today, hell no, I would lead a very different life. But again, that's all khayali pulao, right? At the end of the day. So we have to put a full stop and move on.
Yeah, that's also true. What about your acting journey? How do you sort of envision that? There's Mismatched, of course, that's coming.
Yeah.
But how do you sort of envision that going forward for yourself? Or are you very comfortable in your shoe at the moment as an actor?
Well, I would love to do more complex, interesting roles, like any other actor would. So that actor in me is still craving for the role of my life. But like I said, I'm pretty laid back, and I'm not going out there and saying that, hey, I would love to do this, or please give me work. I'm not that person. So acting has been a parallel stream for me always. I was never mainstream. Like I was not ever in the middle of all of it throughout my journey.
Right.
But I enjoyed that. But when I started, I focused on being a supermodel, on being a model and everything. And then, of course, now psychology and Marvelous Mrs. India and raising the children, all that happened on the side. But throughout, there have been these various roles that I have played, and I've really enjoyed all of them, including Mismatched, which is the season 3 is going to release on 13th December. So when I was approached by RSVP Sanaya, Panchami was the casting director, and she said that, this is the role and you're playing Rohit's mother. And I'm like, I was very happy because The Sky is Pink is one of my favorite films, and in that he plays Priyanka's son, right? So I was like, okay, life has come a full circle because Priyanka, Lara, Dia, and I won in the same year.
Yes.
Right? So we brought the crown back home. So I was like, yeah, I would love to be part of this. And it's such a popular series because now I'm talking about it and people are like, oh my God, we are looking forward to season 3. So yeah, it's fun.
You know, you actually just said what was in my mind, which is life did come a full circle for you. Because that particular year when all 4 of you all won.
Yeah.
I feel the nation got gems.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. No, I believe so.
I said, yeah, and then I realized I did say.
But I also wanted. No, I've been lucky to have interviewed all of them and now interviewing you as well. So life's actually coming a full circle for me as well. And I feel every single time I have met each of these women, and I'm fortunate enough to meet them, and I hope I keep meeting them again and again. The one thing that I feel that stayed with me was the fact that the idea, the understanding of who they are, the responsibility, and the whole thing that in the pageant world there's something called as beauty with purpose. It stays with them, right? And beauty with a purpose is not something that's momentary while the pageant lasts or something. They become that.
Yeah.
You've become that.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to me about how is one, of course, you know, winning it back in the day and knowing Lara, Dia, Priyanka, the whole journey, and how have you sort of now imbibed, and I know deep down what you do as a purposeful way, but talk to the audience a little bit about that because I feel it's such a beautiful thing that it's become a part of your life right now.
Yeah, it has in a way become me. So back then it was fun because we did a lot of fashion shows together, whether it's Priyanka or Lara or Dia. We did a lot of course, fashion shows, and then of course life happened. So each one of us has gone a very different way and very successful, I think.
Yeah. Everybody in their own way. And all of you all have some purpose to the other.
Yes.
Dia has an initiative. Lara looks after something. Priyanka definitely. You are obviously doing something. It's like ageism all over. Tata bye-bye. You know. So it's amazing. Hence I brought this up.
Yeah. So I think my purpose is transform, empower, elevate. These are the 3 words that I live by. And when I thought about it since I discovered the purpose of my life, that's what I work towards. That's, you know, like for example, in COVID, I did a lot of work for mental health because as a psychologist or as a wellness expert, India suddenly at that time woke up to mental health.
Right.
Till then, it was like, "Arey, main pagal thodi hu, main kyun jaun," and things like that. But then people now have become very open, and thank God for that. Of course, it's still a long way to go. But like, for example, on Mismatched set, when we were sitting together, the kids openly spoke about it.
Yeah.
You know, these are like
and
23-year-old.
about it as well.
Yeah, like 23 or 24. Oh, my therapist said this. And very casual and very matter of fact. You know, it was not like, oh my God, you know, I can't. So it's great. It's fabulous. And COVID is responsible for this trend or this change in India. So in COVID, I did a lot of work for mental well-being. I worked with the transgender community with SR Steel because it was their CSR and I joined them. And we did a lot of work because that was a very vulnerable, it is even today, but at that time they really suffered. So we kind of looked after them and we helped them. So through this Marvelous Mrs. India, also my endeavor is to do that, you know, because married women have a certain issues, certain problems, which they can't even voice. At times, they're not even aware that this is why they're feeling. Why are they feeling the way they're feeling? Or why are they feeling so suppressed or lost or self-identity is not there? So again, our endeavor is to make their bond with their family stronger. And if you are happy, you will radiate happiness.
Right.
If you're unhappy, it shows in your aura. It's the energy that speaks.
Right.
So we had to change that. So you can't fake it. You can fake it maybe for camera for some time, but even camera will catch you, right? So that is my endeavor basically, to just transform, empower and elevate.
And a memory that you remember with Dia, Priyanka and Lara?
So we were invited to Leela. They were felicitating us, and 3 of them, of course, were from Times and I was not from Times. And they got like tons and tons of things. They got a car and they got an apartment and this and that and all. And I got a bouquet. So Lara was standing next to me and she's like, I only need a husband now. I have everything. I'm like, I need everything and I have a husband.
She is so witty,
She's very witty. So I said, I have a husband, but I don't have all that you guys have.
My
So
goodness.
it was quite funny.
But you all also had modeling journeys
Yes,
together?
yes.
That was with Priyanka?
So Lara was the one who crowned me for Glad Rags. She was the winner 1 year prior to me when I won Glad Rags. And with Priyanka and Dia, we did a lot of shows together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And imagine now, then winning, and
Yeah.
then everything coming in together. That's amazing. Talk to me a little bit also about, since we spoke of mental health, right? There's Rohit on the show. There's obviously Prajakta. Prajakta is somebody who's been one of those advocates who talks about mental health very openly on her social media.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything talking to these guys about, say, mental health or overall wellness in general?
So they keep discussing that, right, on the table. And of course, I give my two-bit, being a psychologist and being Rohit's mother, so to say. So, like conversations, like, I'm having this trouble and this is the issue that I'm facing. Of course, they wouldn't take names or whatever, and whatever with the limited disclosure that they could, but they would speak openly about their problems.
Yeah. And do you also encourage that for the younger people out there to actually discuss?
I encourage that for everybody. That's what I tell people, that if you suppress your emotions, it will come out as a physical illness later on.
Right.
So don't suppress your emotions, learn to manage them, especially the negative emotions, right? Whether it's anger, whether it's grief or sadness, let it out. It's like a pressure cooker with steam, right? If you don't let the steam out, it's going to explode.
Right.
So your body will tell you that, okay, this is what is happening. So listen to your body. If there is panic, if there is stress, if there's anxiety, take steps to mitigate it. Don't suffer in silence.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, before I let you go, a few things I want to talk to you about. The young Aditi that you were, and there were such beautiful women in the modeling field that you were in, right? As you mentioned, you had Priyanka, Lara, Dia, all of them. At that point also, were you still that secure?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How?
So I'll tell you, the only insecurity I used to have is my height, because for ramp, I'm not that tall. Generally, in society, I'm tall because I'm 5'7", but I used to be paired with a Fleur or Noinika, who was like almost a head taller than me. So I would wear the highest heels and everything, and I used to be tottering. But again, I practiced so much that then I started being a showstopper, and I used to open the shows and everything. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't insecure.
What's competitiveness for you? Do you take competition as healthy?
Oh,
competition?
yes.
Yeah?
I am very competitive. I like to win. I mean, even in cards or board games that I play now, if I lose, I don't like it. I'm not a sore loser, and I will always congratulate the winner. I'm very gracious about it. But no, I don't like losing at all. I like winning.
You also have formulated these beautiful female friendships around you, right? Give a tip or two on how to maintain female friendships.
I think it's all about spending time together physically, not only on WhatsApp or not just calling, but physically you have to. Because today what has happened is the screen has come in between us, human beings. Like if you go to a restaurant, you will see around, you look around, and you will see most of the people are on their phones. The parents give their children a phone so that they can enjoy their food. And I'm like, that's blunting your neurons. Your brain is it's shrinking. Don't do that. Human contact is very essential to maintain any relationship, and you have to nurture it. You have to understand, because nobody is perfect. So you got to understand each other's negatives. You have to understand what is the strength, and you have to accept the person. Yeah.
Would you ever do a show like The Fabulous Wives?
I love reality shows. I mean, cast me today. I have done Big Boss. I have done Khatron Ke Khiladi. So, those are the biggest shows, right? That exist. So I love reality show.
Wow, we would love to watch you also. You'd bring your own spunk only in a different way, because of course, Neelam, we just spoke about it, we've seen on your Instagram, she's come and supported your initiative as well, and it's good to have such people who are your friends, and then to be on a show like that. That would be just amazing. Hence I asked you, would you ever do it again?
Yeah.
People freak out from reality shows, and you've done 2 mega ones, right?
Yeah.
So you're still ready.
So it is my curiosity, it's not so. When I was approached for Big Boss, my first response was that I'm not a melodramatic person. But okay, this was Big Boss 3. It was not as murky as it is today.
Yeah.
So that I think started from Big Boss 4. But first, second, and third was relatively normal. Today, I don't know if I would want to participate in Big Boss, but at that time, I think I asked them, I said, I'm not a melodramatic person, but I want to participate in it because I want to see how and what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a great journey. 77 days inside the Big Boss's house was something that I think the seed of me wanting to be a psychologist was planted there. Otherwise, being a medical doctor, when I was at the crossroads where I was thinking, okay, what should I study next? Skin was something that is something that I was considering, given who I was and the MBBS degree and everything. But human mind, it still intrigues me. It still fascinates me. It's like, why am I reacting like this, and why is somebody else reacting like this? And it is like, it's a mystery. It's like, why did you say what you said at this time? Or why did I say it the way I said it? Could I have reworded it? Could I have used some other word so that the impact would have been different? So these are mysteries. And then, of course, the disorders, which is very disturbing to see whether it's molestation or rape or child abuse. And that's something that is disturbing.
Yeah.
And why? Like, why is it happening? So that's why I veered towards psychology. So that comes from the reality show called Big Boss.
Damn, so great. Now we'll hope for a lighter reality show coming your way. Let's manifest and hope that if that happens, we go back to this, loop pe bajate hain. Yahan bola tha pehle. But Aditi, thank you so much. I feel this was so much fun. I don't feel like I'm meeting you for the first time. It feels like I know you since
Same here.
बहुत बातें कर ली हमने यहाँ पे. I was like, Aditi, 20-25 minutes we're chatting with you. You've spoken a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you
More
for
power
having
to
me.
you.
Thank you.
Absolutely looking forward to Mismatched as well. I feel it's one of my favorite episodes and series to watch. And it keeps me glued, and I'm interested to see what you bring to the table as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations and more power to you.
Thank you.